Hey guys, welcome back. Today I want to talk about a book that I just recently finished and do kind of one of my pseudo book reviews where I try to tell you what I think about the book without telling you anything about the book because I don't want to ruin it for you. So the book that I read, this is actually a children's book, like not even young adult fiction, kind of like an older, maybe older elementary school, junior high-ish age. I mean, somebody older than that could read it and enjoy it as well, but you know, I feel like it's when I was a kid that age, this is what, actually maybe even a little bit younger for me because I was a big reader very early on. This is the kind of book I would have been reading. Probably by junior high I was reading more adult books. So, but I think any adult would enjoy this too. I'm an adult and I enjoyed it. And it's called Merlin. And, well, it's part of a series. This particular book is the very first book in a series that it has like a gajillion books. I don't know. There's like at least 11 or somewhere around in there. So this is book one, and book one is called Merlin: The Lost Years. And they're all called Merlin something, okay? The author is T.A. Barron, and this was originally published as The Lost Years of Merlin, so they did change the name probably when they realized it was going to be a super popular series, and they probably changed the name to make it more consistent, you know, throughout the series. So, the idea of this is that, from what I read, I guess the author has done a lot of, you know, studying about Merlin and, you know, all of the literature that's out there about Merlin, who we know is, you know, a wizard, right? Or we consider him a wizard. And, so I guess he's done all of the research on all the folklore and the stories that are already in print and that kind of thing. And what he realized is there are huge gaps in time in Merlin's life that there's just nothing out there about him. And so what he decided to do was to write books that filled in those gaps. And so he basically is starting off when Merlin is a child, not a super young child, but, you know, not really quite a settled in teenager yet either. He's kind of in that weird in-between phase where there are a lot of boys that are still bigger than him and stronger than him and, you know, more popular than him and more, you know, that he could either look up to or be afraid of. But he's not so young that he doesn't have opinions of his own, and he's not starting to come into his own, and he's not smart enough to kind of work his way through some difficult situations. And when you start this book, I will basically tell you what is, or sum up kind of what is on the back, because you have that information available to you anyway, so it's not really a spoiler alert type situation. But he basically washes up on the shores of ancient Wales, and he doesn't have any memory. You know, he basically was practically dead. You know, so he's got no memory. He doesn't know what his name is. He doesn't know where he lives or even have a place to live as far as he knows. And so, I mean, the book is basically the story of him trying to solve all those mysteries. You know, it starts off with him washed up, and then it kind of progresses to him trying to figure out, you know, who is he, where is he from, you know, who is his family, all of those kind of things. And then just sort of learning life lessons along the way and meeting people and dealing with intense situations sort of along the way. This book, I think, I mean, I have intentions to read them all. You know, this is something that I would collect. It is not as, it doesn't suck you in, at least book by book. I mean, maybe the series itself as it goes along will really, really, really suck you in. I'm not sure yet. But if you compare book to book, I would say it's not as intense, it's not as life-changing as Harry Potter, or something along those lines. but it's not that far off. And I think it's great because it is based around a character that, you know, we all are kind of familiar with in one way or another, even if you're just familiar with him through, you know, Disney movies and that kind of thing. So I think it's a book that, you know, kids could connect with fairly easily. It's the kind of book that either gender, I think, could read. Sometimes it's hard to find books that boys can relate to that are written really well, I feel like. You know, you can think of all the Beverly Cleary books and, you know, Ramona Quimby and all that kind of stuff. And a lot of those do tend a lot of times to have, you know, a girl at the basis. And it can be hard sometimes to find a series that has a boy as the character that really really sucks everyone in and is written really well. You know, so I do feel like this is a good one for the boys, but the girls would love this just as much. If they love Harry Potter and they love that type of reading, you know, if they are looking for things besides the Boyfriends Club and, you know, things that are super, super over the top girly and don't, I mean, I hate to knock on those kind of books, but really don't challenge the mind that much. You know, if they need books that are about something other than trying to find your first boyfriend, you know, in the 5th grade type thing, I think they will love these as well. So it is strongly written. It does lead you on an adventure. It makes you question, like, you know, what's going to happen, or where's this going to go, or, you know, you know a little bit where it's going to go because Merlin tells you a little bit, right? But it doesn't, you know, it doesn't get there the way you would expect, at least not yet in this first book. So, good book. I do recommend it. I recommend it no matter what your age is, especially if you're the kind of parent who wants to know. If you're protective in the fact that you just want to know before your child reads something what it is that they're reading, so that if there's something that you feel is in some way not necessarily super appropriate for them, or, you know, if they're like I was, where they read things that are well beyond what is supposed to be their age range because they're intelligent and they're more mature than other kids their age and all that type of stuff, and they need the challenge of the harder reading, but you still want to kind of know what's in there. If you're that type of parent, then, you know, I think you will read this one and actually enjoy reading it versus just reading it out of, you know, a sense of responsibility. So, there's my little quasi pseudo sort of kind of book review without any of the old-fashioned book review tell you everything about the story parts. I hope you like that. I hope, you know, maybe if you're not a reader, if you just want some easy, you know, some kind of light reading that's not super boring and that is, you know, a little easier, maybe a little easier if you're an adult, maybe that would be something for you to pick up. Tell me what you're reading below. Tell me what you have loved and what you have not loved book-wise down in the comments, and I will add them to my list. Both. I read the ones you guys like and I read the ones you don't like to see if we have the same opinion or not. So I will put those to my list, and you will see at some point down the road I will be reading those as well if I haven't already. Alright, let me know what you're up to in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye!